Hi dear students, today we will discuss a new chapter of grade 10, that is chapter 7, coordinate geometry. Chapter 7, coordinate geometry. It's a very easy and interesting chapter where it's easy for the students to score marks for the exams. We have already studied basics of this chapter in the previous classes. We know to locate the position of a point on a plane, we require a pair of mutually perpendicular lines, isn't it, which are called a coordinate axis. The horizontal line is called a x-axis and the vertical line is called a y-axis, isn't it? And the point where these axes intersect is called a origin, isn't it? 0, 0. This we have already studied in our previous class in grade 9 and all. X-axis we know what it is, y-axis and origin. And we know that the distance of a point from y-axis, is called x-coordinate, isn't it? X-coordinate. It is also called abscissa. And the distance of a point from x-axis is called y-coordinate, isn't it? It is also called ordinate. The distance of a point from y-axis is called x-coordinate and the distance of a point from x-axis is called y-coordinate, isn't it? And we also know that it's a very important point. Any point on x-axis is of the form x, 0. Okay, for example, here it is 1, 0. Here it is 2, 0. Here it is 3, 0. On x-axis, any point on x-axis is of the form x, 0, which is very important point, students. And any point on y-axis is of the form 0, y. All this we have already studied in our previous classes in grade 9, grade 8 and all we have discussed this. Hope it is clear, isn't it? Okay. And now students, we also have studied that on a xy plane or a Cartesian plane, we know it's a positive x-axis. On x-axis, here it is the origin 0, 0. This is positive x-axis, isn't it? 1, positive numbers will write here 3, 4, 5, 6 and so on. And this is a negative x-axis which we denote by x dash, that is 0, then -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6 and so on. On y-axis, this is a positive y-axis denoted by y and this is a negative y-axis which is denoted by y dash. Okay, that is on y 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and so on. On negative y-axis, we'll mark -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8 and so on. Okay, and we can divide this Cartesian plane into 4 quadrants. That is, this is the first quadrant, this is the second quadrant, well, this will be the third quadrant, and here this is a fourth quadrant. Okay, now we know that in the first quadrant both the x and y coordinates will be positive, isn't it? X coordinate and y coordinate will be positive in the first coordinate. That is, if you take any point, for example 2 and 5, that is here 2, from here it is 5, it will be positive. 5 comma 3, that is from 5, and here it is 3, that is 5 comma 3, positive. Whereas in the second quadrant, this we can represent, in the second quadrant it will be negative comma, x will be negative and y will be positive. Okay, if you are taking any point, that is from x, if you are taking -4 and y positive 4, we will denote it as -4 comma 4. Okay students, any next point, if you are taking -6 comma 1, if you are taking -6 from here 1, that is -6 comma 1. Okay, now in the third quadrant, both the x and y coordinates will be negative, that is both x and y coordinates will be negative in the third quadrant, that is -5 comma -4. First we will write x coordinate, then y coordinate, isn't it? Now -3 comma -7, first x coordinate we will write, then y coordinate. Okay, and finally in the fourth quadrant we have x positive and y negative, that is positive comma negative, that is in the fourth quadrant. So 4 comma -5, that is 4 comma -5, x coordinate will be positive and y coordinate will be negative. Now -3 comma 6, sorry 6 comma -5, first we will write x coordinate and then we will write y coordinate, that is -3. Hope it is clear. Okay, just take it to notebook students. These all are just basics of this chapter. Next we will discuss the first topic of this chapter, that is distance formula. In this chapter basically we have two topics to discuss, that is distance formula, and the next topic it is section formula. Okay, thank you students.